Today we're going to be talking about Poshmark announcing the Promoted Closet beta program. This has been a kind of a hot topic in the last couple days. It was just recently announced, so we kind of wanted to dive into what our thoughts were, what we think is going to happen, some of the stuff that we've experienced ourselves when doing some searches now that they've launched the beta program, and just, all around general chat about that.
All right, so first let's talk about what is Promoted Closet. So it's a way to advertise your closet on Poshmark where your listings will become eligible for promotion in prominent locations across search results and brand pages. So that was directly from the article that Poshmark released. There's going to be with those, so you're going to pay to have your items promoted and at the top of the search. So right now how it works is you would share your items, and when you share them, they're going to move to the top of the search. Well, now Poshmark wants you to pay in order to get your items at the top of the search. And then when you do that, then you'll be able to get a lot of data if that is going to be helping you get sales or helping your closet. So there'll be performance insights to see how the promoted listings are doing. But right now, it's just being beta tested. So what that means is just certain sellers are going to be trying this beta for free, and they're going to be providing Poshmark with feedback. Right now, they're reaching out to Posh Ambassador 2s. It's a rolling basis, starting with the largest closets with most available listings who use Posh on desktop. And you can also apply to be in the beta program as well. So it seems like they're probably choosing the bigger closets just so that way they obviously have more listings to, see if that really is working. So we definitely want to do this episode, and we're going to kind of share our thoughts on, is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Should you be worried as a seller? And just kind of what we feel might happen once they start rolling this out to all sellers. So I think the first thing I thought of when I saw that they were going to start doing this and having sellers pay to promote their listings, eBay does promoted listings. Right now, if you want to have your eBay listing show up higher in the search as kind of a sponsored listing or promoted listing, you have to promote at 2% or above in order for your listing to show higher in the searches. And Casey and I do pay promoted listing. We do at least 2%, sometimes 3%, sometimes we'll bump it up to 5%, just kind of depending also on like the time of year. But we feel like it does help our items get in front of buyers. And for me personally, if I'm promoting the listings, I don't really have to worry about spending a lot of time delisting and then relisting that item, which a lot of people feel will help your item be new and higher up in the search. So we don't mind spending that money. When we look at our insights on eBay, we definitely see an advantage of promoting our listings. A lot of them do come from promoted listing. So if somebody sees your item at the top of the search, they click on your item and they buy it, you get charged whatever percent you promote it. If they look at your item and then kind of come back and see it further down in the search and they click on it and it's not promoted, then you're not going to get charged. So I feel like it's definitely an advantage for us, and we definitely see our sales increase by promoting them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I promote all my items. With some of the retail arbitrage items, it's a little bit of a game, I think, because a lot of people are promoting their, brand new items like toys. Let's just use toys as an example. So if I'm promoting at 2%, my item might still fall down at like the 7 or 8 spot in the search results. So that those people that are ahead of you are promoting their listings at a higher percentage than 2%. So it's kind of a game to see like where your listing is going to fall on eBay if you're playing the promoted listing percentage game. It's kind of fun to, see who's promoting what their items at what percentage, if you can kind of like figure it out based on your own percentages. Sometimes it gets like a little bit too crazy and I'm like, I'm not promoting this at 15%. That's just insane to me. I would rather wait for their items to sell off and keep mine at, 4 or 5%. That's doable for me, especially for like retail arbitrage stuff. But the used items that I find at thrift stores, like one-off items, clothing, shoes, stuff like that, I don't really feel like it's necessary to promote it really any more than like 2 or 3%, honestly, unless it's something that's like really like more saturated, I guess. Like I guess maybe like Lululemon or something like that.
Like if you have a blue plaid Wrangler pearl snap shirt, there's like 1,000 other blue plaid pearl snap shirts. So that might be an item I end up promoting because I want mine to be in front of the thousands that are listed. Or if it's something that maybe it's a Aztec pearl snap shirt with cactus on it or something more unique, then I'm going to rely on like my title and my keywords and my item description to get in front of the buyer because they're looking for something more specific. They're not looking for something very general.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the promoted listings on Poshmark, pan out with some, in relation to eBay, like what we're talking about with eBay and how the search results kind of happen. It'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. The next kind of thought that I guess we came up with was that having the promoted listings on Poshmark, it might help you to not have to share your closet as much. Which obviously, I have many personal and specific thoughts on. If you listen to our previous episodes, I've gone on many a rant about the, sharing feature that Poshmark chains us to. If I can pay to play to save myself time, and I'm sure Liz feels the same way about this, and spend that time doing literally anything else, whether that's like sourcing, listing, photographing items, or just with my family, paying attention to them, I think that it would be worth it. It just has to be a good program, and hopefully Poshmark doesn't fall short on that.
Another thought I had was it's just going to be another expense, which for sellers like us, where we're a little bit more seasoned and, we have our budget might be a little higher than some of the new sellers. But if you're new and you're just starting out, maybe you're just starting with items from your own closet in your house and you don't have a lot of items, that's going to be an added expense for a lot of sellers. So I think if you don't have a really big budget to plan on that as an expense, that's not going to be a good thing for the new sellers. They're probably not going to be spending a lot of money to promote their closets because they just don't have the budget to do so.
Yeah. And, I've applied to be part of the beta program. I don't really have a huge Poshmark closet, so I don't know if they'll accept my application or not, but I wanted to apply, see if I would get accepted because I want to test it out and I want to get more of the details. I haven't actually talked to anyone yet that is part of it to see what are there minimums like eBay? Can you promote it at 1% or does it have to be a minimum of 2% like we were talking about with eBay? Are there any other fees attached to this? Like what are we working with here? Basically, we want more information and more details. So our next thoughts, kind of concluding this episode, is that we ran a couple tests ourselves and it is already affecting the search results on Poshmark. So I'm going to pull it up real quick right before we started recording. I just searched, this is like for some reason my default all the time, but I searched for Madewell boots. And just because it's like a really general term and there's a crap ton of them out there. So the first two results that popped up were promoted listings, which makes sense because of the placement, right? They said it's going to be like high value placement for promoted listings. The first pair of boots isn't Madewell. The second pair of boots isn't Madewell. The first pair is actually Vici and the second one is Valentino. The third listing that comes up was shared. Oh, wait, let me go back. The first listing that's promoted was shared 54 minutes ago. The second one was 2 hours ago, last shared. The third one that pops up is not promoted, but it was shared 13 minutes ago. The fourth listing are a pair of Madewell jeans. The fifth listing, a pair of Madewell jeans. And then we get into some more boots. There's 1, 2, 3 pairs of boots, Madewell boots, I might add. The next promoted listing that shows up is a Madewell blouse. It's a button-down blouse. And then the next promoted listing is a pair of Jeffrey Campbell boots. So you can kind of see that it's affecting what comes up. The search, algorithm seems to be back to being a little bit wonky now. We had a good run. They fixed it for a little while after the crisis that we had not so long ago, and now it seems to be something's going on with it. Something's a little wonky, and I'm sure it probably has to do with the promoted listing, algorithm or whatever they've got going on. The problem that I have with Poshmark, and I love Poshmark, it's been an amazing platform to start reselling on, but the problem that I have with it when they start making changes and they start implementing new features is that it seems to really cause a lot of chaos and a lot of problems. And if they love their sellers and respected their sellers as much as they claim to, they would work these bugs out and make these changes and these fixes before, because when you're in it, when you're a reseller, like, you realize how much people rely on this money to get by. And especially right now, like, things are really hard and really tough, and people are relying on this money just to survive. And to be messing with things like this, I just find it disrespectful, honestly. So I wish that they would do more testing internally before like messing with people's, livelihoods. Obviously, there's people that do this as a hobby, and it's not, life or death, or, I'm going to be able to pay my car payment or not. But I was one of those people that used Poshmark to kind of bridge the gap between the income that I was or wasn't making and, having to ask my parents for money just to be able to pay my bills. So I just don't find it to be fair of them to, every time it seems like they are making these changes, something goes wrong. So that's the Ashley rant for the day on Poshmark. Sorry guys, but it was coming. We had to get it out there. What are your thoughts, Liz? What are your final thoughts?
I think my final thoughts would be, I feel like there must have been a reason why they're trying to do this. I don't know if that was something that they're trying to offset people having to share so much, or maybe they're trying to make money as a company. Maybe some sellers reached out and said, we'd love another option to get our items in front of buyers, and we're willing to pay. There's going to be people who are going to pay, and there's going to be people who aren't going to pay. So I just think it's going to be interesting. If I'm going to be paying, like, I don't want the search result to be like the example you gave. If I'm going to be paying for that service, my item better be showing up in the appropriate search. When you're promoting it, is it promoting the brand? Is it promoting what the item is? Like, how is that going to even work? So I just feel like there's just not a lot of information on it right now. So it'll be real interesting once these beta testers, maybe the bigger sellers, start giving feedback, start doing YouTube videos about their experience. Same with like Poshmark live selling. That kind of was something that they started. And now, you have some people that are team Poshmark live, and then other people are like, I'm not even going to waste my time doing that. So it's just going to be interesting to see how it unfolds in the next couple months.
So just kind of like adding on to that, I just searched for, that the first pair of boots, the Vici boots that popped up as a promoted listing when I did the Madewell boot search. So I did Vici boots just to kind of keep it the same as Madewell boots, right? Not specific, like the name of the boots is in the listing, like the style or whatever, but I just want to keep it the same brand, boots. It comes up as the 10th listing under like the actual brand search. This is what I'm talking about. It's crazy. There's something going on with it. Like, how is it coming up under Madewell boots as first? And then when I search for the actual brand, Vici boot, like it's not coming up until like the 10th listing. That's our point, I guess. If you're going to pay to do this, like you said, it's got to be worth it.
So if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts about the promoted closet beta that Poshmark has started?
If you are part of the Poshmark beta program already, also please reach out to us, because we would love to pick your brain, ask you some questions, and see like how that's going for you. And maybe you could, if you're interested, maybe you could come on and chat with us in a future episode. I'm sure there's other people that would love to hear about it too.